Let us see papilledema, the changes that occur in the optic nerve and the reason behind these changes. Papilledema is a bilateral swelling of the optic disc secondary to intracranial tension. We should remember that the retina is developmentally a part of the central nervous system, and the nerve fiber layer of the retina continues backwards as the optic nerve. Once these axons that form the optic nerve cross the lamina cribrosa of the sclera, they are covered by the three meninges, the dura, arachnoid and the pia mater. And this subarachnoid space around the nerve is filled with CSF, which is continuous with the space around the brain and the spinal cord. So an increase in this CSF pressure for any reason, such as a space-occupying lesion in the brain or a cavernous sinus thrombosis, will lead to an increase in this pressure, that is the retrolaminar optic nerve tissue pressure. As we know that the axons allow transport to and from the eye. So from the eye to the brain, there will be a orthograde transport, and from the brain to the eye, there will be a retrograde transport. But for this transport to occur, what is very important is to have a normal gradient. So this is the intraocular pressure inside the eye, and there is the gradient between this IOP and the retrolaminar pressure, and this is known as the translaminar intraaxonal gradient. And this gradient is reduced when this pressure rises secondary to a raise in the CSF pressure. So what happens is the normal transport is blocked and there is a stasis. And we can see that in the axons around the lamina cribrosa, there is engorgement with mitochondria. So what happens is there is a swelling because of this stasis, and there is a swelling at the optic disc. This is characteristic of optic disc edema. So as we know, first the upper and lower nasal poles are affected, and the last to be affected is the temporal part of the disc. This is mainly because the temporal fibers are the thinnest. So once this disc has swollen up, even the blood vessels are affected, and there will be an obstruction that leads to engorgement, dilatation, tortuosity, and the disc also looks hyperemic in the acute stages of papilledema. Eventually what happens is the cotton wool spots can set in as microinfarcts develop, and once this nerve fiber layer of the retina becomes edematous, the edema gives it an opacity. So because the nerve fiber layer is opaque because of the edema, it is difficult to see the underlying vessels that are leaving the disc, and this leads to an obscuration of these vessels. And this is very characteristic of a true papilledema, true cause, which is because of intracranial tension. So this nerve fiber layer edema spreads peripherally, and the internal limiting membrane of the retina can be thrown into folds that radiate outwards from the disc. So in the acute stages, let's remember that in the acute stages of papilledema, the vision is normal. It is only when the chronic papilledema sets in that the patient will complain of a drop in the vision. But on fields, we can be able to appreciate an enlarged blind spot, and that is because this peripapillary nerve fiber layer of the retina detaches from the disc. And so later, when there is a concentric reduction in the field of vision, initially we can just notice an enlarged blind spot. So once the edema becomes more chronic, we can see that exudates are deposited in different parts of the retina, and they might even organize around the macula. So we can see an elevated edematous disc that is initially mildly hyperemic and it progresses to become more hyperemic with vascular engorgement, obscuration of the vessels, cotton wool spots, peripapillary hemorrhages in the acute stage. In the chronic stage, these exudates start getting resolved, the hyperemia sort of decreases, and the disc is still elevated and enlarged. But the vision starts dropping in the chronic stage. Eventually what happens is that because of the pressure-induced axonal damage and also because of the ischemia, the swollen nerve fibers eventually degenerate. And this is when the post-papilledema optic atrophy stage sets in. So again, now the layer becomes flat, and in this stage we can see a flat, dirty grey atrophic disc. This does not mean that the intracranial tension has been resolved. It is only that the disc is now becoming flat and whitish in color and grey-white, and there is a degeneration of the axon. In the chronic stage, we might also see a reactive gliosis, and fibrous tissue fills up the disc, and also in the perivascular layer areas, and we can see perivascular sheathing, which might even persist after the papilledema has been progressed to the atrophic stage. So basically what occurs is there is an initial axoplasmic stasis because of the loss of the gradient. When the CSF pressure rises, the gradient is lost. The stasis leads to a swelling of the disc, initially seen in the upper and lower nasal parts. Then there are vascular changes which subside, and the exudates subside in the chronic form, and later we are left with a flat atrophic disc.